Are you having an identity crisis? Are you not sure who you really are? In this video, I intend to help you find out who you are. Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. And yeah, let's get into it. A lot of us don't know that we have an identity crisis, that we truly aren't living our authentic lives as our true selves, that we are masking who we really are to please others and to fit in into societal norms. Is that you? It was me. Big time. In my past, I didn't know who I was. I was everybody else except me. So how do you know that you're having an identity crisis, or that you are not who you authentically want to be? If you find yourself idolizing other people on television, right, Hollywood and the movies, and you want to be like them, you're having an identity crisis. If you hang out with certain friends because what they do is cool and they're the cool bunch, right? They do things that you would never do by yourself. You only do these things with these people, right? Because it gains favor with them, makes you popular with them. You're having an identity crisis. If you're doing things because you were told that's how it's always done, and you shouldn't do it any other way because you'll be punished, or it's against somebody's morals, or the church, or the government, or the parents, it's not what they believe, and you're doing it just because they've done it, and it's just the way it is, and it's always been done that way, so you continue to do it even if you don't agree with it, even if it makes you unhappy. You're having an identity crisis, right? And if you're picking up hobbies, right, sports, fishing, gymnastics, yoga, if you're doing those things just to fit in and they don't really resonate with you, you're just doing it to be part of a social network, and then it becomes what you are, right? For example, you have a friend who likes to play tennis, and you go, okay, I'll learn how to play tennis, and you start learning how to play tennis, and interacting with that person really becomes what you want to do. So now you feel like you have to buy new tennis rackets, and you have to take tennis lessons, and you have to, just so that you can be a part of that person's life, right? That you have that in common. But that's not your love, right? That the tennis is that person's love. It's not yours. You're doing it to gain favor. You're doing it to make yourself look better, impressive, right? So that you can hold on to this relationship, whether it's just a friend or you want something more. But you're doing something that's not your passion. It's somebody else's passion, just to gain favor with them. And I know there's compromise in life when you want a relationship, but to take on somebody else's hobby or likes just so that you can be with them, you're having an identity crisis. That's the imposter syndrome, where you're pretending to be somebody else, right? It's that person who's a tennis player. It's not you. Yeah, you can do it as a hobby. You can really like it, intend to like it, but at the end of the day, you're doing it for them, not for yourself. That's what identity crisis is all about. Is doing for others, doing because of others, doing what others expect, doing what somebody else says is right or wrong, not living your life, not doing what you want to do because you think it's weird and other people think you're weird. That's having an identity crisis. You don't know who you are, and we're all guilty of it. We've been programmed our entire lives from birth, right, to learn how other people do things, what other people believe, what somebody else invented that said this is right. What made them right? They're right to them, right? But is it right to you? Is it all the things that your parents raised you with, right? And I'm not telling you to question everything your parents told you, but sometimes you have to say, hey, this is, if my mother always said, if I do this, this is going to happen to me. So you're afraid the rest of your life to do that because something your mother said would happen to you is going to happen to you. Now you believe that, right? Now that becomes your truth. But is it? In the back of your mind, you have to start questioning, hey, I get that that's what you were raised with, and that's, how you choose to see that. But if you question it, you should learn for yourself, right? Get your own experience with it. Now, if it turns out that they were right, and now it's right to you, right? So now it's your truth too. It's not just somebody else's truth that became yours. You lived it, you experienced it. Don't label it as good or bad, or if they're telling you I told you so, who cares? You chose to have that experience, and now it's yours. That's what makes you your authentic self. That's what gives you your identity. When you do things, say out of curiosity, right? Your parents tell you don't touch the stove, it's hot, but you want to know that it's hot. You want to experience that sensation of getting burned. You're choosing that. That's when you take back your identity. That's when you know that I'm going to do this because I want to experience it, whether anybody else wants me to experience it or not, or says I should, or if anybody believes that it's going to harm them, right? Because my thoughts and my truths are mine. Yours are yours. My truth is that I'm not going to jump out of an airplane because I'm scared to death. That's my truth. If you want to jump out of an airplane, skydive, go for it. Don't do it. Don't not do it because I won't do it. That's where you start shifting, right? And taking back your identity. And it's not easy. It's not easy because all these thoughts and limiting thoughts, right? They're just crushing us subconsciously because they were already there. They were planted, right? Somebody planted these seeds in our minds that we can't do this, or we shouldn't do that, or that's wrong, or that's right, or that's legal or illegal, right? Or it happened. This is what happened to me, and it could happen to you too. No, it doesn't have to. If somebody ever says that to you, well, this happened to me, and it's going to happen to you if you do it too. You can say, that's the experience that you had with it. That's great. My experience will be different. And if it's the same, then we have the same experience and something cool to talk about. But I'm going to do it, regardless of how you feel about it. And you're not going against somebody else. You're being true to yourself. It's not selfish. That's how you take your identity back, right? And if you choose not to, then you're making a conscious choice to stay in an identity crisis. And I'm speaking from a lot of experience. I didn't know that I was such an imposter, right? Because it's just what I did. I was that person that if I met a friend and that friend liked to fish, then fishing became my life, right? Because it kept me in touch with this person and in tune with this person who I liked hanging around with. But at the end of the day, that person was a fisherman. I wasn't. I was an imposter, right? Skiing. I wasn't a skier, but my friends took me up to ski, and I didn't enjoy it at first. But I kept doing it because they were doing it, and they were making fun of me. That was the wrong reason for me to ski. Now, I haven't skied in many years, but I did, after a while of doing it, learn to enjoy it. Not to make it a sport, not to make it a hobby, but now every now and again, if I ever want to go skiing, I know that I can. But I didn't attach. I did at first. I attached myself to, I gotta learn how to ski so I can hang out with these people at the snow lodge and the bar later, blah blah blah. That whole story that we tell ourselves that we need other people to make us feel fulfilled. Major identity crisis there. I had an identity crisis, and I made it I realized it, I did realize it. But then it became who I was because I was a part of everybody that I knew. So when I was with this person, I did this. When I was with that person, I did that. When I was around my parents, I did this. I had all these different identities that none of them were mine. Not one. I didn't know who I was. I was an amalgamation of all these things, right? And you may say, well, that's normal. That's how we all are. We're a product of our environment. We don't have to be. We can question. We can change. We can decide what we truly resonate with, regardless of if anybody else in our lives resonates with it. Right? Because we're all individuals here having our own beautiful spiritual experiences in these vehicles, these bodies, right? So it's up to you to decide how you want to traverse this experience. Do you want to experience based on what other people tell you, or do you want to have the experience for yourself? That's what makes you your authentic self. When you can do things with other people, right? But not attach yourself that if I don't do this with them, they're not going to like me. No, I'm doing this with them this one time because I'm having a good time with it. Then I'm going to go do that with that person another time, but then I'm going to do what I want. And if other people join me, great. And if nobody joins me, great. That's how you take back your identity and become your authentic self. I had to learn that. We all have to learn it. You know, and that's what I am dedicating myself to now, right? Because I made my transformation. I made the changes that I had to. I had to realize, no, I don't enjoy hunting. I was doing it because this buddy of mine enjoyed it, and I liked hanging around with my buddy. But I will never pick up a weapon against another animal ever again. I will not. That was never my true self. I made it that. It was somebody else's truth. And there's other people's truths, right? And I honor them for that, right? I don't say don't shoot anything or anybody. You do you, right? Am I doing it? No. Will I allow it into my now space? No. But I'm not going to judge you for your truths on it, right? That's how you really become your authentic self. When you can live in this vehicle and be proud of it, regardless of what it looks like, the bags, the bruises, the scars, and be proud. And not flaunt it, but just walk in it with confidence. Not worried about, oh my God, they're looking at my birthmark, right? They think I'm a vampire, blah, blah, blah. That happened to me as a child. You know, I have a natural birthmark here. I don't know if you can see it. And it looks like I've been bitten by a vampire. And of course, you know, kids are cruel. But, you know, they will be their authentic selves, and it bothered me for a long time. It really did. Now I'm very proud of it. Now I don't even know it's there anymore. And nobody ever mentions it anymore because I'm not attaching negativity to it. So everybody else that's just him. They don't care. They're not judging me for my birthmark. It's like I'm not judging anybody else for their birthmarks or moles or freckles or whatever's on their body. That makes them uniquely them. And if you embrace that with confidence and just walk your talk, whew, nothing you can't do. So I invite you to start realizing what is your truths, right? And questioning those things. And if you really have passion for what you're doing and somebody else is doing it too, continue to do that. But if you're doing it just to keep this person in your life or to have something in common with somebody, that's imposter syndrome. And you know, I'm not saying you have to cut yourself cold turkey, but you have to realize that's holding you back because that's not who you are. It really isn't. So, and you know, I just want you to know that you are so much more than you allow yourself to be, and that you allow others to let you to be. Because let's face it, we give our power away so easily to others. And it's all based on emotion and fear and lack of confidence in yourself, lack of direction, and lack of identity. So I invite you to start learning how to become your true self and your authentic self by identifying those things that aren't you, that aren't your authentic self, that you really don't enjoy with passion, do with passion. You're worth that. And I am a spiritual transformation coach, and I've got lots of experience in shifting my identity and making myself aware of that. And I can share those same tools that I use to find myself, because I did. And I can help you see those things clearly, but uniquely to you. I'm not going to say, here, this is what I did, do this, because that's not you. That was what worked for me. But I can share the methods and modalities and the mantras that I used, and you know, the rituals that I incorporated, and the habits that I broke, and how I broke them, and things like that. All these things together. It'd be my honor to share those with you and help you find your identity. Right? First, you have to identify who it is that you are, who it is that you're not, and then we go from there. So if you're so inclined, please book a free 30-minute decompression session with me. I'd love to help you find your authentic self. Right? Are you willing to do the work? Are you ready to make the investment in yourself? Because I am. I did, and I will continue to do so. And I make an investment in you and your growth when you book with me. Right? So, be my honor. If you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm truly beyond grateful. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this video for yourself, to inspire yourself to take the action steps that you need to become your true self and leave the imposter syndrome behind. Leave the other worries and judgments and systems that aren't yours behind you. Right? You can see them, and when you interact with people, you can still participate with them, but not be them. It's time to be you, your true, authentic self. Intend to find your identity. Seek the help. Know that you can. Do it with confidence. And have an amazing day.